I'm really excited to be testing and reviewing the Enviroklenz mobile air purification system because it has a lot of qualities that you won't find anywhere else, and it seems to solve some of the problems I've been noticing with traditional air purifiers and even some of the not so traditional air purifiers. We put it through a lot of tests, and this video will show the results and explain its main features. So links in the description for current prices, and let's get started. So after a recent series of tests I did with some other air purifiers, Enviroklenz contacted me wondering if they could send me a free unit and if I would put it to the same tests. It's rare that companies actually want me to thoroughly test their products, so I thought I would take them up on it. Let me first describe the basic features of the Enviroklenz system, and it's going to take me a minute to do so, so if you want to skip straight to the tests, you can go to the timestamp on the screen. Even though, as we'll see, most of the really cool features on the Enviroklenz have to do with how it deals with gases, odors, and volatile organic compounds, I think I'll start off by describing how it deals with regular particles. So, like almost every other air purifier on the market, the Enviroklenz has a HEPA filter to filter out dust, pollen, pet dander, and other particles 0.3 microns and larger. The main thing that Enviroklenz does differently here is that their hospital-grade HEPA filters are huge. They have 56 square feet of media, which is more than IQ Air and pretty much everyone else. The benefit of this is that it can absorb more particulate matter before needing to be replaced. Enviroklenz actually has two models. The more expensive one, the one that I have, also comes with two UVC lights, which shine on the HEPA filter, which kill living material like mold, mildew, bacteria, or viruses as they collect on the HEPA filter. Unlike systems that depend on killing the organisms as they just pass through the UVC light, the UVC light on the Enviroklenz is continuously shining on the organisms and cause what Enviroklenz calls a high efficiency of kill. But the real innovation with Enviroklenz is the way it deals with VOCs, that's volatile organic compounds, odors, and gases, basically stuff too small to be caught by a HEPA filter. In order to understand why their solution is unique, we have to understand the problems with the ways other air purifiers deal with VOCs. Probably the most common way air purifiers try to remove VOCs is with carbon or charcoal technology, which basically attracts VOCs and traps them. The problem here is that it's hard to tell when it's filled up to maximum capacity, and when it does fill up, various environmental conditions can cause off-gassing, or releasing the dangerous gases it absorbed, since they were never really destroyed, only trapped. In some cases, they treat the carbon with chemicals to try to destroy the VOCs, but that can contaminate the air as well. Another option for removing VOCs is ionization. Ionizers release negatively charged ions into your air to stick to particles, but it doesn't eliminate or remove chemicals or odors, it just weighs them down. Another option for dealing with VOCs is PICO and PCO systems, which use light to excite the reactive material within the machine. The excited material then binds to and reacts with the chemicals and particulates that pass through the filter. This is the process that molecule air filters use, which we'll be talking more about during the test portion. These exposed reactions can result in a number of different byproducts to be released into your air, but more importantly, as we'll see in the test section, it's just not that great at VOC reduction either, at least when compared to the Enviroklenz. So Enviroklenz solve these problems by patenting a process called destructive absorption, which is accomplished through another filter which uses three natural minerals which don't just absorb VOCs like the carbon filters do, but they also neutralize and break down the chemistry of the chemical compounds, making sure there's no possibility of off-gassing, which as far as I know is completely unique among air purifiers, and as we'll see, it also outperforms others in terms of pure VOC filtration efficiency as well. Alright, so let's move on to the tests. First things first, I measured airflow at the intake. That is how much air it was taking into the filter on each of its 4 power settings, as well as how loud it was in decibels on each setting. We found that on high power, it was registering around 62 cubic feet per minute of airflow, which was essentially the same as the Dyson air purifiers we tested on their high power mode. The interesting part, though, was that the Enviroklenz had to pull that air through 56 square feet of HEPA media, which means that its motor has to be much more powerful to achieve the same CFM. As far as noise, we found that it was pretty efficient. For example, on its low power, where it was pulling 24 CFM of air, it was registering only 48 decibels, compared to the molecule, which on its low power, so-called silent mode, was pulling 17 CFM at 46 decibels. Either way, it's whisper quiet, but the Enviroklenz was more powerful with a minimal decibel cost on low. On its high power, it was also 2 decibels more than the molecule on its high power, but there the molecule had the advantage of more airflow. As we'll see though, the extra CFM on the molecule did not translate to faster cleaning of the air though. For example, in our so-called speed test, where we release a 10-second burst of 5-micron fog particles in a chamber and test how quickly it removes the fog, the Enviroklenz consistently beat the molecule on all its settings. In fact, it completely creamed the molecule, which now has the dubious distinction of having the slowest particle reduction I've seen, 71% slower than the Enviroklenz on high power, despite having a faster airflow. In case you're wondering how long the fog would stay in the chamber if no air purifier was running, I'm not sure, but I do know that after 10 minutes it remains basically unchanged, so more than enough time for our purposes. I tested the particle efficiency in 2 other tests. One was where I released 1 tablespoon of a special kind of test dust with a filterless vacuum in a 3,400 cubic foot room and measured the changes several times over the course of an hour with a particle counter. Here I found that on high power, the Enviroklenz had reduced the smallest particles in the room 72% in 45 minutes, using the first 15-minute measurement as the baseline. This is compared to the molecule, which only reduced the particles 51% in the same time. In an upcoming video, I'll compare the Enviroklenz and molecule in more detail and show some other tests I did, like a real-world test where I see how they do in an 8,000 cubic foot area over a longer period of time, which had similar results. But for now, let's move on to the main event, the volatile organic compounds test. So for this test, I bought a meter that could measure various types of VOCs, including things like ammonia. So here I poured 2 cups of ammonia into a bowl and put it into our testing chamber, where it quickly registered on the VOC meter. I found that when I turned on the Enviroklenz, it very quickly brought the levels back to normal. In fact, it reduced the levels 79% in 20 seconds, which is crazy fast. When I did the same test with the molecule, not only did it not remove the ammonia levels, it just kept rising. And after 3 minutes, it was up to 11,000 parts per billion, and I just had to abandon the test. This is actually consistent with laboratory tests done comparing the Enviroklenz and the molecule, as well as other air purifiers, in which they found similar results with ammonia. You can see the Enviroklenz versus the molecule lines on the chart. I tried a few other tests, like with formaldehyde, where it took a little longer, but in 15 minutes, the Enviroklenz had reduced the levels 91%, which again was consistent with the laboratory results, where again it soundly defeated the molecule. Same thing with other VOCs, like hydrogen sulfide. I'll talk more about how this compares to the molecule in an upcoming video, but the takeaway here is that the Enviroklenz, which was originally developed for chemically sensitive people and those with environmental illnesses, really does seem to have invented a process that not only filters VOCs incredibly efficiently, but does so without off-gassing and also goes above and beyond in terms of basic particle filtration. It really might be the best air purifier on the market, but in any case, I know for sure it's the best one I've personally tested so far. Links in the description, and be sure to subscribe to Vacuum Wars if you're interested in that upcoming competition video between the Enviroklenz and the molecule. Thanks for watching.